Hello, welcome to the ContentCure.co podcast. I'm your host, Erica Johnson. Today, we are talking all about client attraction with Henriette Danel. She is the founder of the Entrepreneurial Success podcast, and she's also a business coach. So I'm so excited to be here. How are you doing today, Henriette?
Oh, bless. Thank you so much for having me here, Erica. I'm thrilled to bits. And I'm so excited with what we've got to share with the audience today, because I know it's going to help so many of them.
And by the way, I was actually a guest on Henriette's podcast not too long ago. So I'm so excited for her to be a guest on my podcast here today. And for the guests that are not familiar with you, can you please tell them a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a strategic business coach, and I primarily work with female entrepreneurs who are in the service-based industry, and I help them to get more clients continuously. Now, I always joke and I say I was plucked from the bush, because originally I'm from a very small town in the heartland of South Africa. And I grew up in this small town, and it was so tiny. It only had one traffic light. It was always green. But growing up in a small town, for me personally, I always had big dreams, and I always got in trouble at school because the teachers always said to me, stop daydreaming. And but that was the one thing I always daydreamed, that somewhere out there I'll do my own thing, I'll become my own boss. And yeah, life went on. You became comfortable working in a corporate job. Before I knew it, I just realized that something had to give, and I wanted to start that lifelong dream that I've always had as a kid. Took the leap of faith, and I think, oh my gosh, it's just coming up to about 4 years now that I am a strategic business coach, and it's the best decision I've made. I love absolutely what I do, and I just love helping women in particular just to get to a point where they go like, oh my gosh, business is so much fun, and it's so great seeing clients coming to you all the time. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It's just the best part.
What was the point in your corporate career that you decided you were going to become a strategic business coach?
Okay, so in the corporate world, I actually worked for 15 years in the interior design industry before I jumped over to my own business. And I was very good. I was very high up. I was a good manager for an international company, but I kind of reached the ceiling. I couldn't go much further than that. And that kind of just tweaked something and just kind of niggled a little bit for me, going, maybe it's time to go and explore this world of entrepreneurship. So as everybody would do, you go onto Google and go, how do I start my own online business? And I don't know, I'm sure so many women here could listen and go like, yep, that's what I did as well. But yeah, that took me a little bit down to a rabbit hole and so many questions that I had. But you know what? I finally figured out that once I knew what my strengths and my skills were, that would kind of develop and evolve and lead me to what I wanted to be and what I needed to do. And yeah, it did. And I just realized that I'm very good at teaching and helping other women. And from there, the business coaching just evolved and grew.
That's amazing. So when you went off onto your entrepreneurial journey, did you start off as a coach or did you start off doing something else before you became a coach?
No, I kind of immediately went into coaching, and I started training, got certified. And I thought, while working full time, I at least got to try this out. So I didn't quit my job there and then. I had to figure out if this was really for me, if this is where I wanted to go. And then instantly it just became this passion. And I just knew that that was the purpose that I was meant to be and to do. And that just kind of evolved. So yeah, and then I just quit my job one January, cried my eyes out because I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? My boss cried her eyes out because she didn't want me to go, which is nice to know. But for me personally, I felt that making that decision was the right decision, and I haven't looked back.
Well, that's amazing. Over the years, since you said you've been doing this for 4 years, what's been your favorite client transformation? I know all your clients are your favorite, but if you could choose one.
I know. I think one of them in particular, I'm not going to say names here, but one of them in particular was an amazing photographer from South Africa, actually. And she came along, and she was one of my very first clients that I really started working with. And she was overwhelmed. She didn't quite know how to get herself out there, how to just become really visible, how to get clear on a message, who her ideal clients was, that whole kind of thing. So we got very clear on it. We got a strategy in place for her. And she started showing up and become more visible. And I think it was about 2 months working together, she tripled her client base. She got so fully booked. Now, this was before COVID, okay, that being said. So as a photographer, for her, it was just an eye opener. And she was like, this is so much fun. I didn't have to do all of those things that people always say online or teach you and what you need to do. I didn't have to do all of these kind of strategies, use all of these platforms. As soon as she got very clear and very focused on what she needed to do, she started signing up clients left, right, and center, actually up to a point where she was like, I'm going to have to turn people away because my diary is just so packed and so full. But that led us to, obviously, to the next step of her moving the business upwards and forwards in order to still accommodate those clients coming to her. So yeah, I think that was one of the best kind of like clients that I've worked with where she immediately got the results, because it was one of my very first clients, and that just kind of motivated me sharing with people what I know in order to help them. And that was just, yeah, that was transformational, not just for her, but for me as well.
Well, that's amazing. I know you're going to dive into your strategies for attracting clients to you, but since this is the contentcure.co and we talk all things social media, blogging, email marketing, and video, what's your favorite type of content?
My favorite type of content is basically podcasting. and if I can talk about it in that context, it's only because I'm not a blogger. I've early on tried blogging, and getting content out there to my audience in the form of a blog just wasn't for me. But then, as you know, I love talking. I love having these kind of conversations. So podcasting became the thing for me. And that's how I'm getting my content out to my audience. And when it comes to content, the kind of content that I create is all about client attraction, but very much to do with the mindset behind client attraction, which I think is one of those big entities that we kind of step over. Yes, I'm a strategic business coach. Yes, I talk about the strategies, but your mindset has got to align with the strategies in order to make it work for you. So yes, podcasts, definitely lots of videos. I've got my own YouTube channel. So all of the videos goes on there, and yeah, it's just fun. It's just really fun.
So along with, I love podcasting as well. Like when we first met, when I was a guest on your podcast. So is your favorite social media platform YouTube, or if you had a second favorite social media platform, which one would it be?
I think at this moment in time, the social media platform that I really enjoy is Facebook, but particularly my Facebook group. The reason for that is I'm really engaging with my audience there, with my potential clients, but also just showing up and being consistent. I do Facebook Lives every Tuesday and Thursday where I share and give a lot of content, tips and things like that, and how to attract more clients. And it's just one of those things. It just lights me up after you've done a Facebook Live and you had some interaction and some engagement with people. It just feels amazing knowing that I can participate in that way, helping and showing and guiding other people as to how they can get more clients as well. So for me, yeah, it's got to be Facebook. I am on Instagram, but I find the engagement a lot better, personally for me, on Facebook.
Well, this year, one of my goals is to get more active on my own Facebook. So I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you for some more help in that regard, because Instagram, I'm doing my thing. Pinterest, I'm doing my thing. LinkedIn also, I'm trying to, but Facebook is what I'm trying to come back to. And it's funny because when I started my business, I started with Facebook, then the other one. So coming back full circle. Well, that's amazing. So now I think is a great time to dive into your 4 strategies for how people can attract more clients to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that I want to share with you. It's all about stopping the overwhelm. It's all about stopping the whole idea of trying to be everywhere, be seen everywhere. Yes, it is a good thing if you have a team of people helping you out and you're already far well established in your business. But if you're just starting out, or if you're in the beginning stages of your business and you're not attracting clients, one of the things that I've seen that stops you from getting those clients is because you're overwhelmed. You're not crystal clear, you're not focused on where you need to go and what you need to do to get those clients. So I've devised the 4 strategies which I'm going to share here with you. And it's just about stopping the overwhelm and becoming laser focused and just following it as a recipe almost. And like with any recipe, the more you do a recipe, the better you get at it, to a point where you don't even need the recipe, you don't even need the guide, you just do it automatically. So this is what I'm going to share here with you today. The first strategy starts with a visibility strategy. And because you're here talking about content, social platforms, I want you to figure or kind of imagine it as a pyramid form. At the bottom of that pyramid is your website. Now, we all know it's easy to create websites yourself these days with templates, or get people like amazing Erica here to do it for you. And it's great, but so many people tend to have a website, put it out there, and then hide behind that website, hoping that people will see them, hoping that people will come to them. And that's not the case. On top of that, in the pyramid is social media. Now, social media has become an amazing way for you to become more visible. You know, Instagram and Facebook, Pinterest, all of those other platforms that are out there. You get stories, you get lives. Oh my gosh, you have to use at least one or two of those platforms in order to become more visible. However, don't use all of them, because that's where the overwhelm starts. So my suggestion is use only one or two platforms at the most in order to become more visible. And then each one of those obviously have their own strategies. Then on top of that, in the pyramid is getting featured. Oh my goodness, once you're getting featured, once you're showing up and being seen in front of other audiences, sharing your message there, it is just such a great way in order to expand on your visibility. And there's so many great ways you can do that once you start stepping out of your comfort zone. And then at the pinnacle of that pyramid is public speaking. Now, public speaking these days are very different from what we used to know when we were together in networking rooms, when you saw people on stages. Now, I'm a public speaker as well, so I know that public speaking is one of the best ways to reach your audience physically there in the room, because they can see you, they can hear you, they can feel your energy. But these days, obviously, with so many things being online, if you're doing videos, if you're showing up, you're basically a public speaker as well, because people can still feel you and still see you. But I think if you look at that whole pyramid, starting with the website at the bottom, public speaking at the top, all of those kind of entities within the pyramid, again, is not there to overwhelm you. You have to choose at least one or two of those entities. Start maybe with your website and one or two social media platforms. And then as you build on that, maybe then start getting featured. Maybe then start obviously going and doing public speaking. That is the best way. Once you've got that and once you're clear on what it is you need to do, that's all you use. Don't get distracted, because we all do as creative people get distracted so quickly. So that is the first strategy, your visibility strategy. The second strategy is your attraction strategy. And this is something that we spoke about earlier on. Your attraction strategy is really the content that you're putting out there in such a way that is attracting people to who you are. Now, whether that is your blog, podcast, whether that's videos, whether you're using your email list for that, but you have to have a structure and you have to have a way that I teach my clients how to put that content together, how to create that content in advance so it goes to your audience with the right energy so that you can attract them to who you are. From the second strategy, we move over to the third strategy. This is the best strategy, and this is the relationship strategy. This is where you build the relationship with your audience. How are you communicating with them? But equally, it's not just about communicating and talking, it's about listening to them. How are you listening? How are you building a relationship with that audience? So when it comes to selling, it's something as easy as a conversation. And this is what I teach my clients as well, is literally having that conversation, but having that conversation in such a natural, authentic way that you don't even feel you're selling. You're just there helping somebody. And I think the best thing is that I can share here with you is you've got to understand selling and building a relationship is very much the same thing, because selling is one of the most beautiful transactions that can happen between you and your potential client. That is something where you've got to think about selling as a tool and as part of building that relationship, rather than as being one of those sleazy, non-helpful things that people talk about. From the relationship strategy, then we move over to the last strategy. Now, it's almost like a circle. Start with your visibility strategy at the top, then you move over to your attraction strategy, your relationship strategy, and then your fourth strategy, which then links back to your visibility strategy, is your transformation strategy. Now, this is literally your product or your service. This is where you're taking your client from where they are to where they want to be. And through the transformation strategy, which is your product or your service, this is basically where you're continuing to build that relationship, but also you're going to get recurring clients because they've seen the amazing value and they can see how you've helped them. So what are they going to do? Heck, they're going to come back and ask you to help them with other things. You're going to get some amazing referrals from that. and you're going to get some fantastic reviews, which again completes the circle and enhances your visibility yet again. And then you just repeat the whole recipe. So it's not about overcomplicating things. It's about bringing everything back down, getting laser focused, and follow the recipe again and again and again. And I promise you, once you started following the recipe the first time around, you're going to see a difference. Do it a second time around. Oh my gosh, it's going to pick up speed. And then as you keep going, you're going to think like, how did I not use this before? Because people are getting more and more attracted to me. That's all it is. It's about having fun and really about simplifying business, because yeah, it doesn't need to be complicated. It's only as complicated as you make it.
I love that. I really love the part of your 4 strategies, the relationship piece, because like you said, listening as a business owner is so important. A lot of times as business owners, we think that the customer wants to see the same thing we want to see. When it comes to, in your steps, it's the attraction piece. We'll put so much content out there and then we get frustrated when they're not responding how we want to. But just like you said, if we take the time to really listen when they're sending us DMs and comments and questions and emails and voice messages and different stuff, we would know what to put out to attract more, or to, ease their mind and make it easier to sell to them. So I love it, love it, love it. I love that. And I think that that's something, when I talk to my clients, I try my best. I'm not a coach, so I just try my best to bring it on home, like how they can listen or how they can generate the ideas of, taking their DMs and their comments and then using that as the prompts for their content and the content creation. Because in my world, the business owners, they're like, what do I post? I don't know what to post. I ran out of ideas. I'm like, just go back to what people are asking you and post that. Yeah. That's what I try and tell them.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we get taught to talk, but we don't get taught or taught to listen. And that's one of the things that so many of us struggle with. Even as business owners, I find it time and time again, we struggle to listen. So definitely just kind of zoning in on that and listening more and asking questions and then listen. So you can obviously use that feedback. Oh my gosh, you can create so much content once you start listening and once you start asking the right questions.
So along with podcasting, because I know you have a blog on your site, but you're saying besides that, you like using Facebook, of course. So the live video. So not to get too many gems, because you dropped so much, and my audience is probably so happy right now. But how do people, can they join your Facebook group, or do they need to be a paying client to join your Facebook group?
No, the Facebook group is absolutely free. The reason why I have the group is just because I feel that it kind of segments people that I really know that wants to learn about client attraction. And then they are those people who tend to be really great people in business, but they just want some ideas about business and about strategies and things like that, but they're not really focusing on client attraction. So the group specifically that I have is focused on client attraction. It's absolutely for free. It's just about providing you with that content. So that is additional content, apart from the podcast episodes. So it's just kind of like mitigating between who are the right people that I can talk to. And again, having a group is really great, because now that you've kind of segmented that, and the people in the group are the ones who are interested in client attraction, you can start asking questions relating to client attraction. And those answers you get back, oh my gosh, yet again, more content.
I love it. So how can people work with you further and learn more about your coaching practice, and also how to be a podcast guest on your podcast?
Yeah, so if anybody's interested to be a podcast guest on my podcast, I only do interviews about 4 times a year, because I stack all of my content. So if you're interested, I think that you can obviously just get in contact with me through my email, or obviously just through my website. There's a contact page there. Let me know that you're interested. We'll have a quick chat to make sure you're a good fit. And then if you're a good fit, we'll schedule something when we have the podcast recordings again, and then we can take it from there. So much fun. To work with me again, all I need is just to have a little chat with you, just to see if we're both a good fit for each other. And then if we are, we can talk about that and we can take it from there.
Well, that's awesome. And then Henriette was so generous. She has brought us a special gift today. I'd love for her to share it with you all.
Yeah, so what I have is I've got a free resource guide, which basically inside there are 30 resources on what you can do to attract clients. And some of those you might already know, but some of those might create a little light bulb moment where you go like, oh, I never even thought about that. Let me go and see if that would work for me. So the free resource guide is available just in my website right there and then. And I think you'll provide a link to that as well. So yeah, just go and download that for free and just start using it. It's so much fun actually when you start seeing some of the other resources and things available, which you might have never thought about, and then just start testing and playing with it, because some of them could really, really spark something for you and start helping you attract those clients.
And that guide is amazing, by the way. Henriette takes a lot of tender love and care in everything she does. So it's an amazing resource. You're definitely going to want to download that after you listen to this podcast. So the next thing, I like to have a little rapid fire session. So favorite music artist?
Oh, Beyonce. I'm such a big fan of it.
Favorite podcast?
Oh, Amy Porterfield.
I love Amy Porterfield. That's amazing. Hot or cold drinks?
Hot.
Live or recorded video?
Oh, live. Definitely live.
Reels or TikTok?
Reels.
Now, why Reels?
Oh, because I'm still experimenting with them. I'm still experimenting with them. I've got to get used to it a little bit more. I haven't given it my entire focus. Like I said, I've got a strategy and I'm expanding on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be Reels. I haven't dived into TikTok yet.
I also like Reels a lot. I like TikTok. I like watching TikTok, but for myself as a business owner on TikTok, it's kind of weird. But yeah, I really enjoyed this time talking to you, Henriette. And I know that the audience did too. Is there anything else you'd like to add really quick before we close out?
Yeah, just go and have fun in business. I mean, when it starts to getting clients, don't get frustrated because they're not engaging with you. Just go look at your recipe. Look at maybe what you need to say goodbye to and what you need to focus on. Start having some fun, and I promise you'll start seeing the results.
And then my question is, for your business, for your strategic coaching, should someone be established in business? Can they be a new business owner? What's the ideal business owner to be in your program and be successful?
I tend to work with people who are already in business, because I do find that they've kind of experimented and already, tried things. And then they find that maybe they've tried too much and it's not working for them. So we start zoning it back in. I do work with people as well who is just starting out in business. But the kind of program that I use with them is a little bit different than I use with the client attraction, only because they might have a little bit more that they need to put in place before we can move on to the next steps. So there's a bit of a difference, but yeah, primarily the majority of the women that I work with are already established business owners.
I love that you have those services for different levels of entrepreneur, or different stages, I should say, of entrepreneurship. I don't want to say levels. It's like a hangover from the club. Do you have the Clubhouse app?
No, I don't actually.
I'll have to send you an invite. You'll love it because it's like being on a podcast, but you can actually hear people back. So
oh my gosh,
it's kind of addictive. Yeah, it's kind of addictive. So I would say just do it for maybe 30 minutes to an hour at a time, but it's women and men all around the world. It's kind of like LinkedIn had a baby with Instagram and a baby with YouTube and Apple Podcasts, but took away the pictures. So we can, here, let me show you a screenshot just really fast.
Oh my gosh, see, you learn something new every single day.
I know this had nothing to do with the episode. So here's my profile.
Oh, brilliant.
So you can see the little picture, and then you have your bio. And then you can follow people and they follow you. And then there's a bunch of rooms. So yeah, I'll send you your invite for sure. And then you'll get in there, and literally it's all around the world. I've heard from a lot of people where you are in South Africa, the UK, not really many people in like Middle Eastern or Asian places just yet. But the US, UK, and then South Africa, I've heard a lot of people, and a few people in South America too are starting to get on the app. The app is like super new. It came out right when COVID hit. But yeah, you would love it on there because of your public speaking and because of your podcast. And it's great networking. Like there's whole groups about public speaking, podcasting, and also your subject matter. Entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, there's whole groups that you can really come in and add so much value. So I'm excited to get you on that app because you need it, and it's completely free. Do you have an
I'd
iPhone?
love to. I do. Yes.
I'm going to send you an invite. You're going to love it.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I love it. Love hearing about new things.
And also how you have your entrepreneurial success client attraction Facebook group. You can actually have that same thing on Clubhouse. And so you can reach even more women than you had before. Yeah, it's really cool. I love it because
I'm so excited. Please send it over. I'm going to go and have a look now.
Yes. I really enjoyed this. I want to be respectful of your time. So thank you so much for joining us here today. I look forward to interviewing you maybe 6 months to a year from now. So see how things are going. And I really enjoyed our time here today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Erica. All of the best.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.